We want your money. Dominic Alafaci joins us way out west. I can see across the Nullarbor. Oh, there he is. Dominic, good morning to you.
Good morning, Darren. How are you, my friend?
Yeah, good. What takes you over to Perth?
I had a conference last week, the Financial Advice Association conference, which was fantastic. Yeah. And ironically, we had tickets for day 3, which is the Sunday for the test, right. But never got to see a ball. Oh. And then this week I've had a few client meetings and had some business to do at the Perth Mint, which was very interesting. And we're heading home tomorrow morning very early.
Hey, that's where they actually physically make money at the Perth Mint, isn't it? That's where they make the cash.
They actually mint the gold, which is fantastic. Yeah. It's quite an experience. I have a couple of clients who are thinking of, it's really funny gold. Like, you think, who would be the richest country in the world? So, okay, America's got, I think, about 1,000 billion, so that's called $1 trillion worth of gold reserves. And you've got, would you believe, Italy, I think, is the second biggest gold, has the second biggest gold reserve with about 300 billion. Yeah. Germany's got a bit more, but it's sort of in London and America and a bit in Germany, so not sure whether they'll get it all back as they need it. And then I think the UK's got 200 billion in gold, and little Australia, we've got probably about 9.5 billion. So yeah, we're quite small in the scheme of things. But Perth's very insignificant in terms of our gold exports.
Yeah, interesting stuff. Give us a call now, 133 693. Any questions for Dominic Alafaci with regards to finance and retirement and planning? What did the markets do overnight, Dominic?
Well, we had a few troubles on the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, which froze everything for about an hour or so. But despite that, the Dow Jones Industrial Average put on 289 points to 47,716 on rate cut hopes, which is fantastic. Ain't going to happen down here. The S&P 500 was 36 points higher at 6,849, and the Nasdaq rallied 151 points to 23,366. Across the Atlantic, London's FTSE put on 27 points to 7,921, with the French, German and Italian bourses all higher. Gold rose 1.25% to $4,255 an ounce, and West Tex Intermediate was lower, now buying, you can buy a barrel for $58.55. The $8 is stronger against the greenback and is currently buying 65.5 cents, with the ASX 200 SPY 4 points higher following Friday's effort. Round market was flat, falling 3.2 points to 8,614.
The number is available, 133 693. Call now and you'll get straight through. Dominic, do you get the feeling over in Perth, because I do, that it's the world's most isolated country? And you do feel that way, don't you? You sort of feel as though you're stuck in the middle of nowhere.
But I've got to tell you, I probably did 1,000 Ks the last couple of days. Not one pothole, Darren. Not one pothole. I tell a lie. There was one at Cottesloe Beach car park. Apart from that, Jacinta, come and have a look at what a good road network. Oh, it was so pleasing. And they're very courteous over here in Perth, and they drive very sensibly. But look, I suppose the biggest news in the finance market was the spike in inflation to 3.8% this week, which is putting Australia in a very risky situation. We're on the verge of stagflation, and I don't know whether Dr. Jim Chalmers is going to be regarded as the worst Labor treasurer since Dr. Jim Cairns 50 years ago. Yeah. But if the CPI numbers the GDP figures don't come out positive next week, we're in a very precarious position.
It's not good, is it? And again, as we were discussing earlier, that affects interest rates, and they don't come down. They remain at a substantial rate, which doesn't have investment.
No, that's the whole thing. Stagflation is a funny term, but in simple terms, it simply means prices keep rising for consumers and for businesses. Yeah. But there's no growth. The economy's stagnant, and it just means in a few years' time, when the plant and equipment needs to be replaced or there's an opportunity, they're bypassed because there's no money. So we end up in a downward spiral with the economy not being able to grow, but prices continue to rise. And, you know, I never thought I'd say this, but I think we should bring back Paul Keating. He was, even though we had the recession we had to have, and many small business owners, I think he was the most hated treasurer ever because of the high interest rates and the terrible loss of small business. But it was over. Like, we had the break, we had the recession, it was over. Jimmy Chalmers is just kicking the can down the road. Yeah. There's no plans for growth. I can't see us growing much at all. The only things that are growing are immigration and the fat public service. No disrespect to all the people who work in Canberra, but they're the two biggest factors that help Australia grow. And there's no manufacturing. No. There's no incentive. Out here in Perth, it's great. You can see the booming mining economy, but the rest of us are really struggling.
Well, and one of the reasons, there's no incentive when, like the businessman I spoke to during the week, who employs a lot of people, his monthly payroll tax bill for the privilege of hiring people to work for him is to the government $45,000 a month.
Oh, I know who you're talking about, actually.
Shocking.
I think. But that's actually a state government tax. So it was supposed to be abolished when the GST came in, but the state governments have been reckless in their spending and have got huge deficits, and they're robbing Peter to pay Paul. You can see things that are undone, like the road network and the health network, and everything else is sort of suffering because they just didn't keep to their budgets. And, it's a bit like, remember that great Chardonnay socialist spoof called Don's Party with the late, great Graham Kennedy in it? Just reminds me of that. There are all these philosophical discussions going on. Everyone's getting pie-eyed and a few people are smoking dope, and there's a bit of bushmakundi in the bedroom between people who aren't married. It's all sort of a big party, and it seems like that's what the Labor government's doing at the moment. They're just living in Noddyland. The reality is Don's Party just doesn't exist. I mean, life isn't like that. It's hard work. We get up, we go to work, we pay our taxes. We just want a little bit left over for ourselves with good hospitals, roads, schools and things like that, but they're all just, I think, having a bit of a spoof.
Jane has called through. Hi, Jane. How are you going?
Oh, good, thank you. Just a question. I've been made redundant this year, and I'm just being in an industry fund with my super company. I was just wondering, is that a good thing to stay in with advice, or should I go somewhere else? I find I'm a bit lost with where I'm going.
Yeah. Look, Jane, industry funds can be fantastic. It depends on your particular needs. You can get, under the law, when an advisor talks to you about your super fund, they have to give you what's called a statement of advice, which is like the A to K white pages, if you remember, a thick document that goes through all the ins and outs of a duck's bottom. So the question is, if you want to get some advice on that, who can do the statement of advice for you? Now, the industry funds have got good services where they provide that, but they're limited just to their own products in many cases, where if you go somewhere else, you can get a more tailor-made piece of advice that looks at various products, including your industry fund. So it could be good. May I ask your age, Jane, if you don't mind?
I'm 65.
Did you say 65?
65, yeah.
Yeah.
Good age, Jane.
Are you looking to retire soon, or are you going to go back to work, do you think?
Oh, I'm not too sure because I've been trying to find some work, but, it's my age now, so that makes it a little bit hard. And, if it was a sort of, casual sort of job, that would be great.
And
I just
what
feel
sort of work are you looking? What sort of work are you looking for, Jane?
I'm up for anything. I just would like to. Yeah,
it's good to keep active, Jane.
Experience. Yes.
Yeah, it's good to keep active, perhaps part-time. So it sounds like you've got a couple of elements that I would suggest you get a financial advisor, either your industry fund or an independent of the industry fund, to give you a financial plan, which, as I said, looks at the ins and outs of many things, including the duck, and comes up with a set of priorities for you and says, look, this is what Jane says is important to her. These are her resources. These are her goals. I want to do this, I want to do that, I'd like to travel, I'd like to work 3 days a week or whatever it is. And it helps you plan ahead. So financial planning is like getting an architect to draw a plan of your house. And the investments part of it, whether you're in an industry fund or not, are the taps in the bathroom and the tiles in the kitchen. They're very important, but we've got to have a plan first to work out where the bathroom is and where the kitchen is. So my advice, I'd always get a financial plan. Depends how much money you've got to spend. You can spend a lot of money on a financial plan or a small bit. So do you mind me asking how much you have in super?
Probably 500,000.
Yeah, look, it's probably worthwhile you spending a bit of money and getting that looked after properly. So if you don't have a financial advisor, go to collinshouse.com, leave your details. Actually, contact me at collinshouse.com. Write me a little note and I'll call you or contact you by email. And if I can't help you, I'll find someone who can.
Good on you. Thanks, James. Dominic Alafaci is over in Perth. I've just realised, Dominic, it's, 6 o'clock over there or 7 o'clock?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is.
When are you heading back over east? Will you get the red hide back at some stage?
No, we're going to catch a very early flight tomorrow morning, Perth time. So we've got to be at the airport at 7 o'clock. So that'll be an early rise for us.
Oh, good on you, Dominic. Well, lovely of you to get up nice and early for us on this Saturday morning. And we'll see you back here in Melbourne.
My pleasure, Darren. Looking forward to seeing you soon.
Good on you. That's Dominic Alafaci, collinshouse.com, as we approach 10 o'clock, broadcasting live from a very wet deluge. Heavy rain falling here at the Melbourne Cricket Ground for Inspiring Vacations.